Had just told me when I was over there, they said it had to be a terrorist because he was outside when the first plane crashed. He heard the boom, and when they evacuated his building, he saw the second plane come. The second plane circled around the building, and then saw the building, just went straight into it. He said the second plane knew what it was doing.
So it went around, hit it by its side, went right through. Me and my husband seen the first plane, he seemed a little low. Not thinking that the World Trade Center is behind us. No, the World Trade Center. And then on the right, he just ran straight in. And then we're just looking at the fire, and then we see another plane not thinking. Said, this is not going to happen again, laughing.
So it's facing us to the second plane? I was on the second wall.
The second plane.
I was on the second wall.
It went around, hit it by its side, went right through. Half the tail fell down to the ground.
Directly over my building, and there's been another collision. Can you see it? I can see it on the shot.
Oh my!
Something else has
You know
just.
what?
And
We
that
just
looked
saw
like
a plane circling the building.
It is in the other building.
We just saw a plane circling the building a second ago on the shot right before
I
that.
think there may have.
Yes, battle stations, keep them on the ground.
Yeah, we have put Otis back on battle station.
Did nobody do a card of the week for this week's ATO Live World? Yes, battle stations, keep them on the ground. I'm going to call this off at the same time. We uploaded. All right, so make sure you get a good weapon safe call. Keep it safe.
Still calling around for it. We don't have any possibilities. I got the scrambling, but I'm thinking if we want to keep these guys on the ground.
Yeah, we're pretty much faded on this guy, so.
Do you have a card of the week? Yes, I am. That's
just for Sim, or?
That's exercise. Huck in the ATO, can you hand that to me, please?
I was watching and listening and wondering, gee, that looks awfully big to be one of these little planes. And then I saw the second plane coming around, and nobody said a word. This was on Channel 1, NY1. And then they woke up when it was before I was leaving the house to vote in the primary. I happened to hear on WINS radio that something had hit One World Trade Center, so I turned my TV on. I was watching and listening and wondering, gee, that looks awfully big to be one of these little planes. And then I saw the second plane coming around, and nobody said a word. This was on Channel 1, NY1. And then they woke up when it was about, a few hundred feet from the building and said, wait, there's a second plane and it's aimed, and that's all as far as they got. About, a few hundred feet from the building and said, wait, there's a second plane and it's aimed, and that's all as far as they got. And wondering, gee, that looks awfully big to be one of these little planes. And then I saw the second plane coming around, and nobody said a word. This was on Channel 1, NY1. And then they woke up when it was about, a few hundred feet from the building and said, wait, there's a second plane and it's aimed, and that's all as far as they got.
And I turned my car down a one-way street, and I got to the stop sign, and I saw one tower on fire. I said, oh my God.
The north one there?
The bigger one.
Yeah.
The one that's higher up. And then I saw a plane behind it with a helicopter following it, and he was way too low and too close. He was going over the river. And he was way too low.
Like the East River or the Hudson?
The Hudson.
Yeah.
And he was coming from behind the tower, and there was a helicopter trailing him. And then by the time I got here, it was 2 minutes. And then as I'm pulling down the street, 10 minutes said, we heard another explosion. Did anybody tell us that that was another plane?
See, I was having coffee on Humboldt Street in the back.
To vote. And just before I was leaving the house to vote in the primary, I happened to hear on WINS radio that something had hit One World Trade Center, so I turned my TV on. I was watching and listening and wondering, gee, that looks awfully big to be one of these little planes. And then I saw the second plane coming around, and nobody said a word. This was on Channel 1, NY1. And then they woke up when it was about, a few hundred feet from the building and said, wait, there's a second plane and it's aimed. And that's all as far as they got.
Billowing out of the, I would say it's about 15 stories down from the top of the number 2, I believe it is, World Trade Center. Flames are coming out also. This apparently was a commuter plane that smashed into it with such force that the windows of the Pick a Bagel, in which I was just about to buy a bagel, smashed with a big bang. Everybody was very frightened, and it sounded like a fabulous explosion. And indeed,
towers, and I looked up, and the side of the World Trade Center exploded right when I looked up, and at that point, debris started falling. I couldn't believe what I was watching.
Can you hear anything from your position right now? Ambulances, sirens?
Absolutely, positively. There are crowds of people downstairs in Battery Park City. Everybody's come out from the buildings. This is the financial area in Manhattan, and there's a lot of fire engines. I can see them from my window.
Jean, can you tell us, I don't know if you can tell which tower it is that's on fire right now, or the kinds of services that are inside that tower?
I can't tell what's inside. It's the northern tower versus the southern tower, and it seems to be on all sides of the building. From what I can tell,
who would drive a plane smack into the middle of the World Trade Center would have done it on purpose.
It would seem that either that or they lost control, but I can't see something like that. I mean, it was like right into the building, so and it was coming low. Because if I was to see a plane that was going high, and all right, but this was coming low, it's very visible.
Can you see the streets below? I'm told we have another eyewitness, Tom O'Hara, on the phone. Tom, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Can you tell me what you heard and saw, please?
Actually, we were in our office building on 36th Street, and I went up to the penthouse where you have a straight downtown view. We saw the northwest tower on fire, and we saw either a slow-moving airplane go down, wrap around the tower, and then slam into the south to the south tower in a ball of flames.
And from 36th Street, could you hear what was going on?
I couldn't hear, but we have a straight-on shot completely downtown of all of the goings-on the two buildings.
All right, Tom, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
So from 36th Street, looking across the tops of buildings, you can see.
We saw the North Tower in flames, and we saw the plane circling around before it slammed into the South Tower and caused it to end up in flames.
No. Oh, that's it. Oh, shit. Something, a big ball of smoke.
Oh, shit.
Huh?
Oh, shit.
Oh, you see it on television. Yeah, this could be a lot of deaths.
This is blend, man. Oh, shit.
This one did it on purpose. Okay.
A black plane.
Yeah, we see it going around. He went.
Yeah, we just saw that.
Huh?
He did that on purpose.
I can't hear you. We're talking so loud. What? Yeah.
We sitting there looking.
The other building.
They hit both things. It's on fire.
Yeah, we see it going around. He went.
Yeah, we just saw that.
Huh?
He did that on purpose.
I can't hear you. We're talking.
At 59th Street in Columbus, and I have a clear view of downtown, and I can see the towers. And I was in my living room, I was getting dressed to rush in here, and I saw one tower, it had all the smoke. And then I saw another plane that was really close, and it went behind, and you can see it doing a turn. It was turning its wings, and it went around, and then I saw it go into the other tower, and I saw a big pool of flames just come out, and there was a big explosion. I didn't hear anything, so I'm at 59th Street, but you could see it, and there were flames, and there was so much smoke, and you can see that it was an entire different building. But I saw it, it was a different plane.
So two different planes.
Absolutely.
Now I'm going to have.
UA 175 turned in a circle around New York City. Mr. Knowles characterized the flight.
Plane coming in from the other direction earlier. I'd noticed it had you, Charlie. I didn't know if it was that plane that then circled wide and came back from another direction, but we all watched it, and I just assumed...
John, could you hear that?
Me and my husband seen the first plane take, he seemed a little low, not thinking that the World Trade Center is behind us. No, the World Trade Center. And then on the right, he just ran straight in. And then we're just looking at the fire, and then we see another plane not thinking. Said, this is not going to happen again, you know, laughing.
So it's facing us, the second plane? I was on the second wall.
The second plane.
I was on the second wall
It went around, hit it by its side, went right through. Half the tail fell down to the ground.